All right, welcome to the Sports Guys, another edition of our weekend recap. This is coming after an incredibly packed weekend of sports, all kinds of things going on. We had some really, really crazy finishes in the NFL and some big upsets in college football. How you doing, Robbie?
Doing great, doing great. Just having such busy weekends these days. Then just trying to keep an eye on all the sports is almost impossible. I think if I was sitting with a remote in my hand all weekend, I would struggle. There's so much wild action.
What's wild is you had that kind of weekend. I had the one you're talking about. I pretty much sat in my easy chair most of the weekend watching college football all day Saturday and pro all day Sunday, and I still couldn't watch it all. That's how much there
I
is.
know.
I agree with you. So I did my best to follow the ones I couldn't see either on my phone or just kind of track what the scores were and the highlights. But what are the big
I'm getting a
themes?
little better at watching things while I'm doing something else, like on my
Hmm.
phone.
Hmm.
Thank goodness I can watch it on my phone.
You have
Um,
to.
yeah,
You have to.
yep.
What are the big themes for you this weekend coming out?
Well, definitely again, not much in the way of upsets in college. There was a little bit, but the NFL's I think the NFL is really good this year.
It is.
I'm really enjoying the NFL this year. I'm a little less intrigued by college right now, but I think as the games really start mounting and you start fighting your way towards the playoff, it's going to get more exciting. It's kind of like baseball.
Hmm.
There's very little more exciting than playoff baseball, and
Hmm.
very little more boring than the average game in, middle of August. Like nobody cares.
Hmm.
You're on a 10-game losing streak and you're still in first. But anyway, playoff baseball is super exciting, and it's because it's got some juice. And I think college football kind of builds. It's been a good season. There's been definitely good matchups in college, but
Hmm.
I just love the parity of the NFL. I just love it.
I'm really enjoying both of them, but I agree with you. I had kind of taken to college football more last year and the year before, but this year I'm really, really enjoying the NFL. It is so crazy every game. I mean, you can get these huge leads and blow them. And you
Yeah.
have kick returns for touchdowns. You had nine pick sixes this weekend.
Special
Nine
teams
special
and,
team
and
kick blocks, and
yeah,
it's just absolutely crazy. I don't know what you do to try to close down a game anymore. It's just really really tough for these teams that are leading that blow leads.
you just gotta hold the line. Like I don't know,
That's
just
right.
just put them away. You know.
You have all the injuries that you have to deal with. I noticed that there's a lot more injuries in pro than there is in college. A lot of
I
teams are
will
doing
say though that it still kind of holds. Home field in the pros is pretty significant.
it is.
You know, there
There's
were
no
some
doubt.
upsets on the road, but not very many.
It's true. Yep, and we had some real big games that are. I mean, I could not imagine a better weekend for me personally. You had my Carolina Panthers win 30-0
Yeah.
against an in-division rival and play really well. You had my Commanders win their game with a backup quarterback and got over 200 yards rushing, completely dominated the Raiders. So that happened. Then you had my UVA Cavaliers just roll up the points on Saturday night and had a huge win against an ACC foe, Stanford. So that was a big
Mhm.
deal for me. And then, of course, you have the Cowboys lose to the Bears, which, of course, I despise the Cowboys. So couldn't have had a better football weekend other than if the Dolphins had upset the Bills.
Yeah, they played hard. I guess they say that there's no such thing as a moral victory that the Dolphins players did and stuff, but I kind of think there is one. They had a moral victory, um, just by playing tough. But I think everyone's ready to admit that Tua is not the guy. They made a mistake,
Hmm.
and not only that, but that their roster is not great. It's they have some stars on there. It's a decent team, but it's not deep, and they're not very tough. They need a few chippy guys. They need a Brian Dawkins. They don't have a guy that makes them want to step on people on the ground and stuff. Like
Well,
they're
they took two
helping
over.
people up.
They took two over Justin Herbert. That's
I
all
know,
you have to say.
I know.
So
And none of us as Dolphin fans wanted that to happen.
it's just
You
sickening.
know how I feel about quarterbacks who have a great third year and then a bad fourth year. They did not forget to play how to play quarterback, and so you know take your chance on those guys. They still know how to play football. They just lost a lot of talent around them, and so they're not as effective. That's not really their fault. Put them on an NFL team, the whole
Mhm.
thing's different.
But
Herbert was
then,
always going to be good because he's tall, strong arm. He's got all the intangibles. He's got it all. And so if he has a little bit of a down year, you get him at a good value, but you pick him. And so that's a no-brainer. You don't get a little small quarterback who's injury prone and put your whole franchise on it. It's like,
whereas on Colin Cowherd today, he was saying 2 years ago, you would have said the Panthers made a huge mistake taking Young over C.J. Stroud, and it really looked
I
like
think
that.
no, I still think that was a huge mistake.
And yet this year, Young is playing better than Stroud, and Stroud looks like completely lost, like he's completely regressed. He can barely get a first down. I don't
But
know
to me,
what's
that's
happened to
not a
him.
binary choice. The mistake was not Stroud or Young. The mistake was going up to get that pick.
Mhm. Given all the draft capital to do it.
That was the mistake because there
Right.
were good quarterbacks in that draft later,
Mhm.
so they could have easily kept all the good players and had a good quarterback instead of a mediocre small quarterback that you
I also
traded the
think it's
farm
the
for.
team and the situation. I think Houston's struggling right now a little bit. They just don't have the weapons, and their
Well,
offensive
no,
line.
they've depleted their team. They've traded away offensive linemen.
Mhm.
They've they have one star on their whole team, Nico
Mhm.
Collins.
That's right.
That's it.
That's right. Yeah,
You
that's
know,
right. That's
I
right.
mean they got a couple pieces on defense, but overall their defense has huge holes, and their offense has huge
It
holes.
really is the situation. You have a guy who was thrown on the trash heap by the Giants this past year, and that was Daniel Jones, who was a very high pick. He was picked number 6, and he goes to a different situation with a really great roster and a great offensive line, and he's leading the league in passing. So I don't know. It's really the
I've always thought
situation.
he got a raw deal with the Giants. I always thought he was decent, like definitely above average. Like
Mhm.
Daniel Jones is above the 16th best quarterback in the NFL in my head.
So he
He's
goes
not
to a
top 10, but he's top six, he's top half.
But he went to a top 10 roster, and he went to a really
Yeah.
good coach, and he went to a really good offensive coordinator and a great offensive line, one of the best
Offensive
offensive
line
lines,
is huge.
and Jonathan Taylor in the backfield,
Yeah.
and receivers all over the place, and a great tight end, and it's just a perfect situation for him. He finally found
Yeah.
himself on a team that's decent. So,
Yeah.
what were your thoughts about why we're having so many major plays in special teams this weekend? It just seemed like it just kept coming and coming, block after block after block. What's going
I
on, do you
think
think?
I think the teams, generally speaking, that don't take special teams very seriously usually have bad special teams. It's like it's not an accident. Like the 49ers always have bad special teams because Kyle Shanahan has famously doesn't care about special teams. So they're always going to give up the punt return where you're pulling your hair out, and it looks like just really bad luck. But honestly, it's preparation.
Mhm.
It's the Eagles players were talking about it. They said that they felt like a lot of teams think of uh, field goal defense as just line up and just smashing the guy in front of you and just put your arms up. But they think of it as a play. They think of it as like literally a play. So the Eagles having, two block kicks, that shows that there's something to that.
Well, did you see what Jordan Davis said about it? He said
Um,
all week they studied in the film room, looking at the way the Rams do their kicks, and they
yeah,
noticed that their kicker, compared to all the other kickers, kicks the ball at a very low trajectory.
yeah,
So he said they really saw something there on film that they had thought they could exploit. And he said that I'm not always on the block team, but he said, put me on the block team. We see something there. We see a way to do this. And they got 2 of them. So,
yeah,
that was film study.
yeah. Not only that, they saw that their long snapper does not engage very well. As soon as the ball snaps, he doesn't shoot his arms out. He just kind of puts his arms up softly like this, and he got right by that guy. So the center is part of the problem there.
Mhm.
The long snapper was part of the problem. So there's a lot of technique involved, even though it looks like luck.
Mhm.
And not taking it lightly, ended up winning a game they shouldn't have won. The Eagles shouldn't have won the game. I mean, they're the better team, but they didn't win most of the statistical categories.
They're the better team, but the Rams in the first half were absolutely hammering them into the ground. I mean, they came
The
out
Rams
looking.
won most of the statistical categories.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they definitely should not have won that game. The Rams really should feel sick that they blew that game.
Yeah. I mean, the Eagles won 2 important categories. Red zone, they were 3 for 3, and the Rams were 1 for 4. So that's a decidedly big advantage. And then on 4th down, Rams tried one. It was 0 for 1. And the Eagles were 4 for 5. So I heard a comment today about how they're saying that the Eagles are so automatic on 4th down and 4th and 1 that they have 3 downs to get 9 yards, which is a pretty big advantage.
So somebody was saying today that 2 games is a sign, 3 games is a trend, 4 games is the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So you still think that's true in the NFL? Because I really feel like I'm looking at a 49ers team that's 3-0 that I cannot understand how they're 3-0 when they are a complete mash unit. Like they're
Well, no, it's pretty easy. They haven't played very good teams so far. So
they played Seattle in Seattle.
Seattle's not a very good team.
Well, they're pretty good.
They played well yesterday, but they're not a very good team. I think when you're playing an in-division team that has holes and you beat them pretty well, that doesn't say that much about you.
So where do you think we're going to see the 49ers in like 3-4 weeks? You think they're going to start losing? You think they're going to continue to stay in first place in the West?
Well, I don't think much of Seattle. I don't think they're terrible. They're a mediocre, okay, decent team that their ceiling isn't very high. I don't think they can really do playoff damage at all. Nothing. But, they can beat some teams and make it a miserable experience. So, San Fran, who are they going to play? The Cardinals aren't very good.
They got to play the Rams.
They got to play the Rams, who are good. But it's not the toughest division. It's just not. So if they can hang on against the Rams, maybe trade with the Rams, and then whip up on the other teams, Niners could keep this winning going and make it look like they're a really good team.
Mac Jones is playing really well. I mean, he led that drive at the end there with McCaffrey carrying a lot of the load and was able to get that game-winning field goal. So
let's face it, McCaffrey looked kind of like McCaffrey.
He did. He had some really
receiving the ball, running the ball. He was hitting people with power. Like he was physical.
So I don't know what to make of them yet. I want to wait another couple of weeks before we decide. I do know Dallas's defense is the worst defense in the NFL by far. They made Russell Wilson look like a 10-time Pro Bowler, and then yesterday Russell got completely demolished to the point where they kept taking him out for Jackson Dart for a play or two, and it was just not good. I think they have a real quarterback problem in New York because Daboll is 0-3 and he's staring at possibly being fired.
Yeah, they have a problem because the crowd is already cheering for Jackson Dart, and it's only week 3.
Yeah.
So that's a problem.
There are so many weird games over the weekend. I mean, the Patriots pretty much dominated the Steelers on the stat sheet.
Yep.
And yet they had 5 turnovers, and somehow the Steelers come away with a 21-14 victory in a game they never should have won.
I know.
You had the Jets shouldn't have even been in their game. However, they also blocked a kick and took it back for a touchdown and forced Baker Mayfield to do his 3rd game-winning drive of the season. He has 3 game-winning drives to win 3 games. So they're 3-0 somehow, whereas the Jets never should have been in that game. Then you have the Panthers demolish the Falcons, an in-division rival. And the week before that, they had just pretty much destroyed the Vikings on their home turf up in Minnesota. So such a strange league. You just can't predict it. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at our material for tonight. All right, let's take a moment just to give a shout out to our latest sponsor and our newest sponsor. That is Hard Rock Bet. Hard Rock Bet just launched their Hard Rock Bet just launched their app about a month ago, and they're the newest in the market for a great online sports betting site. And their app is fantastic as well. I just downloaded it actually 2 days ago. So we're real excited to have Hard Rock Bet on board. Robbie, what do you think of this new app and this new service?
Very excited about it. I've seen a lot of it across the sports landscape, and very excited to have a new sponsor. We're real pumped about that. Very excited that we can be involved with them, and just very excited to get that new sports betting affiliate, getting ourselves involved in a new venture. So that's pretty cool.
It's cool to be part of their launch, right? I mean, it just is a new
Yeah, yeah,
service, the newest one on the market. They timed it for football season, which I think was brilliant. And so I'm real excited to go down this path with you, Robbie, with Hard Rock Bet.
yeah. We're excited. Go
Guys,
check them out.
check them out. And for their first deposit, they will match up to $150. So if you download the app and deposit $150, they'll match you 100%. So definitely encourage you to do that today. Check out their app and check out their service. And we're looking forward to doing the same. We'll see you next time.
See you soon.
All right, so I'm calling this the Special Teams Impact Show, September 22nd, 2025. You see the top left there, the actual kick and the block by Jordan Davis, and then he picks it up and runs. What was amazing, Robbie, he ran 18 miles an hour, which nobody thought anybody who's 340 pounds could ever run that fast.
He was moving. He was
He was
really
faster than almost all the Rams. So
he ran a 4.740 at the combine.
that's right. And what's crazy is Jalen
It
Carter.
doesn't sound that impressive, but he's the size of a house.
It's just unbelievable how great an athlete he is. And Jalen Carter blocked a field goal earlier in the game.
Yeah,
So they
that's
blocked
right.
2 field goals. One of them got each from Georgia.
Yep.
Another kick that got blocked, you see the top up there. You see the Packers kicker kicking, and the Browns got it, blocked it, and then went down the field and kicked the winning field goal. And what was amazing about this is Packers take a 10-0 lead into the fourth quarter. Browns had done absolutely nothing all day long and somehow come out with a 13-10 victory against the team I thought was the best team in football. So, what do I know? But again,
Green Bay dominated time of possession and most of the stats. It was incredible.
Don't you think these teams would be practicing protection all week? I mean, I just don't understand how this keeps happening. You have 9 blocks on a Sunday, including several extra points.
It just goes like that sometimes.
Yeah,
I don't know.
guess so. It just was really, really strange. You had the block there to the right of that one where the Jets blocked a kick for the Tampa Bay Bucks and took it back for a touchdown.
I will
And
tell you one little
went up
theory
super
that I
early.
have. I'll tell you
Okay.
one little theory. Special teams is coached by old school coaches, people
Mhm.
who think old school. And the new wave of coaches is all high flying, offensive, creative genius type offensive guys who don't have a lot of use for special teams. And so a lot of times their special teams, you know, will end up losing them a game because they give up that huge punt return, or they'll have a kick blocked, or they'll have multiple kicks blocked.
And
And
you
it
saw
really
multiple.
shows the focus of the team is not on those special teams plays, but really is focusing on the perfect offensive play.
You
I don't
had
know.
3 games lost this Sunday because of special teams, 3.
I know.
And then you had 2 others where there were blocks like this Jets one, and the Jets almost won the game. But you see
And
them.
Washington returned a punt for a touchdown. That's a special
Right,
team play that, you
right.
know,
And then the Jets returned this one here against the Bucks, and then to the right there, you see the Bucks making the winning field goal for the 3rd week in a row. So it's
yeah.
just it was so bonkers. And then you see a lot of pick sixes that happen. The Panthers had a pick 6 there on the bottom center, and then to the right, this kid Rogers for the Vikings had 2 pick sixes, 2
Mm-hmm.
for the Vikings. So really pretty amazing to watch all the impacts that all these non-offensive touchdowns are having in the league this year. It's kind of exciting.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it makes the play much more exciting to watch. When they're
It
all
is.
automatic all the time, it's not. I know that a kicker wouldn't agree, but it's pretty exciting when the game can swing completely the other way. When you're about to kick the winning field goal and the team takes it back, You know,
That's true. So looking at the college football scoreboard, LSU takes care of business, 56-10. Nussmeier gets back on track. Had a big day. They took him out in the fourth quarter. Total blowout here. Nothing much to see here other than LSU gets back on track, gets their offense back to where they think it should be.
obviously LSU had an easier time with their defense than normal, and their offense kind of came back up. So, it's not too much competition.
LSU
It's,
sitting at 4-0, and what's funny is they really haven't played that well this year, and they're sitting
yeah,
at 4-0, which is pretty amazing.
yeah. Kelly's been taking a lot of criticisms for their offense and stuff, and their defense has been pretty decent this year, and it's been a weak point in the last couple of years. So I think he feels like, all right, offense will come along, and our defense is playing great, so we'll be fine. So I
So
think, yeah,
what
he's been
happens?
frustrated in this press conferences, and it's been coming out very evident that he's frustrated with fielding questions about, is his team not, overrated and all this stuff.
So what happens when they play Alabama and then Georgia and then Ole Miss? And it's just they're about to play
Well,
Murderers Row,
it's
Texas.
gonna depend on if their offense keeps improving
Mm-hmm.
and they are a dual threat. You know,
Nussmeier's a
LSU
good
is loaded.
quarterback.
They're loaded with
Mhm.
5 stars. You don't
Yeah,
want to mess with LSU, really.
that's true. It's true.
In fact, I've heard that that's the hardest place to play in the entire country. That
Absolutely.
Death Valley is harder than Clemson.
So one of the games of the week, Miami plays interstate rival Florida, and everyone was expecting a little bit better game. Miami just really dominated this game. I was most impressed with their defense. I mean, they must
Yeah.
have 4 NFL players on their front line. It was crazy. They were in the Florida backfield the entire day. Made Lagway look really, really bad. Carson Beck had a nice day, but just kind of pedestrian. What were your
Miami's
thoughts
D had
about?
4 sacks, 7 tackles for loss. Listen to this: third downs, 0 for 13, Florida. 0 for 13, and 8 for 16, Miami. So clearly,
Wow.
Miami was effective at moving the chains, and Florida was 0 for 13.
Do you think this game was more about Miami, or was it more that Florida's offense is completely dysfunctional? Or is
I
it
hate
both?
to say it, but I really think both, because I think Miami is ascending.
Because
All the
Florida's
pieces are
defense
coming
wasn't bad in
together.
this
Their
game.
defense is playing well. They're good at the quarterback position. They have skill position players again. They're good in the trenches. Miami's ascending. Like,
They are
expectations
some.
for them can be, dramatically higher. And Florida is not what we thought they were. They're just not.
Well, Florida's
They're,
defense was not bad in this game.
it was
It
okay.
really
They had
wasn't.
1 sack, 4 tackles for loss, and a pick, but that's not good enough if your offense is so weak
Mhm.
against a really good opponent. I
They're
mean,
not playing complimentary football. Let's put it that way.
DJ Lagway, Tom, 12 for 23 yards. Sorry, 12 for 23 receptions, 61 yards.
Have you ever seen a guy who's supposed to be a big prospect look so deer in the headlights as this guy the
No.
first 4 weeks? I mean, he just looks totally lost.
Granted, he's still got time in college,
He does.
but I really thought he was taking the big leap this year, and he's not. He's terrible.
Yeah, he's really been bad.
But his team is a lot worse than I thought they were. I thought Florida was loaded.
So
They
one
did
of the
really well
guys
in the transfer portal and stuff, and
they did.
they're terrible.
One of the guys who's been, I think, under the radar a little bit this year is Dante Moore for Oregon.
Mhm.
Oregon State was not much of a match for Oregon, but I just love watching this kid play. He's so smooth. He
Yeah.
makes the right decisions. He gets it to the right guys for yards after catch. They blow out their interstate rival 41-7. Thoughts about Oregon, thoughts about Dante Moore,
Dante
and
Moore, 21 of 31, 305 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks,
yeah,
81.4 QBR. Those are fantastic numbers. I mean, he's a good leader. He's quiet with his team, just rallying around him. Nobody's talking about him. And he's just getting the job done. I mean, it's not the hardest competition, Oregon State, but that's what you're supposed to do to inferior competition. You're supposed to just put up gaudy numbers and pound them into submission, and then the backup's supposed to come in the late third, early fourth quarter and take over and just keep scoring. Actually, it's a
Yeah.
good sign. So
Do you think your theory about the NFL has a lot of parity and college does not? It looks to me like in college, the big teams are really separating now.
yep.
You can tell the big teams, the top 10 teams are the top
But
10 teams.
also, there were fewer great matchups than there were in the first couple weeks. So, there were a couple, but there's like Texas Tech Utah is a good game. It's 17 against 16 in the country, but there wasn't like 1 versus 3
Hmm.
or 1 versus 6 or something. We didn't really have any of that this week.
True.
17 versus 16 was about as good as it got.
And did you notice what happens when you get those matchups where it's, 1 versus 3, 3 versus 5? You get really low scoring games. You
Low
get like
scoring. Yeah.
21-14 kind of thing.
Especially early on in the season. If you
Yeah,
were to play Texas Ohio State in about 4 weeks from now, it'd probably be a little more explosive.
maybe, maybe.
Yeah.
Offenses would be a little further ahead for sure.
Yeah.
So Florida State plays Kent State, and it was
Yeah.
just absolutely pathetic to the point where they took Castellanos out midway through the third quarter.
Yeah, he
He
had
didn't
to.
really, he didn't really have to do very much,
Mm-mm.
and they were just rolling it up. They had 4 different running backs with touchdowns.
You know what Castellanos is impressing me a lot with? His running.
Yes, it's
He's a
incredible.
he's a deadly runner. He had 54 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns rushing.
I know.
So they just keep him on the ground, and he's good size enough. He's quick, and he's a weapon. You block everybody, you get everybody accounted for, and there he goes.
You know what I think everybody wants to see? Florida State, Miami in the ACC
Miami. Yeah,
championship.
I was about to say that'd be good.
That's a great ACC championship game right there.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Listen to this. Yardage. Kent State 206, Florida State 775.
775.
775.
That is insane.
First
66
downs
to 2.
12 to 37.
Rob, they had 35 points in the first quarter.
37 first downs, Tom.
Yeah. You have 5 touchdowns in the first quarter. That's domination.
Yeah.
So this next
Yeah,
game,
you shouldn't even be in that game if you're giving up touchdowns that easily.
this next game was a real rollover. Texas over Sam Houston. Arch Manning had a nice game, 3 touchdowns, had a rushing. Interesting, though, a lot of criticism came out after the game, especially by his mother. Arch Manning's mother took to social media and posted that she thought Arch acted like a spoiled brat when he was standing over one of his opponents and taunting him after one of the touchdowns. So I thought that was really interesting that she would feel, empowered to come out and talk about her son and that she didn't like his behavior in taunting an opponent there. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, it's probably hard to see your golden boy son, who you love more than anything, probably, start to buckle under some of the pressure of over expectations for him, too high of expectations that more than reality would really dictate. So you want to see him continue to carry himself with dignity through all this scrutiny. And I think she felt like he's falling short. And
Well, I think she feels like he does usually do that. He usually is very composed. He's very calm. He's icing his veins.
But he hasn't had this much adversity yet because he's really been kind of the guy that they talk about as possibly being great one day. But now they're like, okay, be great. And it's not that easy. You can't just turn it on like that very, very often. I mean, some people can, but I think she was publicly embarrassed and wanted to say so and wanted to send him a strong message that you're still a Manning, you're still us. Win like a champion, lose like a champion. Take your medicine, and when they're criticizing you all over the place, you stay a Manning. You know.
You know what, though? I don't think you go out in social media and do it that way. You wait until he gets home. You say, look, I need to talk to you.
I think she would need to defend that, why she did that. But I'm just trying to say that I think I understand why she would make that somewhat of a mistake.
I mean, now he's got to go into the Texas locker room, and all the players can be laughing at him. And why is your mama getting involved?
Not laughing at him, but I mean, there'll be whispers. You
I
know.
agree with her message. I completely
Yeah.
agree with it. He needs to act much more mature than that. But
Yeah.
I don't like how she handled it.
Yeah. I mean, I always think you keep that stuff private, so I wouldn't do it that way.
Any other thoughts about this game and kind of, this was their get right
There's not
game?
much to report. It's not a game that should happen. It only happens because of money. They
Mm-hmm.
want to start putting W's in the W column and
Mm-hmm.
make their way towards the playoff, and they want a few patsies on there to tune up games.
Right.
Sam Houston's never going to beat Texas.
No.
I mean,
You got all these 5-stars. This kid Wingo is pretty good. They've been waiting for him to break out, and he had
Yeah.
kind of a slow first couple weeks. It was nice to see him get on the board a couple times. He's a real good player.
Yeah, for sure.
So this game to me
Yeah.
was even more surprising than
This was the shocker for me.
because this game everybody was touting as a really close, maybe last second field goal.
Yeah.
Two really great quarterbacks, Mendoza and Altmaier, and two really good teams. Illinois is actually number 9 and Indiana was 19. Of course, we know we love Signetti. He's one of your favorite guys. And
He is.
what in the world happened in this game? What is your take?
I mean, when I look at it, Altmaier could not handle Indiana's defense. I mean, they got 7 sacks, 10 tackles for loss, and a pick. They were just relentless. They had athletes like Altmaier. It seems like he hasn't seen in a while.
Well, what about Mendoza with 5 touchdown passes?
Mendoza played great.
What in
He
the
was
world?
21 of 23, Tom. He had 2 incompletions.
5 touchdown passes.
267 yards, 5 touchdowns, no picks.
Does it look to you like Indiana's rounding into a playoff team?
He spread the ball around. It seems
so.
like there's not much drop off. But listen to these stats. 3rd downs, Illinois 1 for 10, Indiana 8 for 11.
Wow.
That's total domination. Yards, 161 to 579. And this one is the stat of the day. Rushing yards, Illinois 2, Indiana 312.
2.
The reason was because I think it was the quarterback who had like negative 29 rushing or something. I remember reading through how did this happen, and it was a big negative number for the quarterback who tried a bunch of running plays, so they weren't considered sacks, but he was getting tackled for negative yardage. So he was trying to run, and he'd get tackled for a 3-yard loss. And so he had negative 29.
You realize Illinois was number 9 going into this game, right? They're a top 10 team.
I thought really highly of Illinois. I was talking borderline playoff team. And I don't know. This one kind of makes me rethink it, but they're still a good team. I don't know about number 9.
I think that's a little high, and I think
I might
Indiana's
flip-flop the two rankings. Illinois might be the 19th, and Indiana might be 9. That's
right.
You know what I mean?
Can you think of any other game in 4 weeks of this season that was more surprising than this one? I can't. This was supposed to be really, really competitive between these two.
I don't know. Clemson? I don't know.
But I don't know. I mean, some of those games were not that surprising. I wasn't that surprised Syracuse beat them this weekend because they had not been playing well. This game was incredibly surprising to me, this kind of route.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. There weren't that many upsets, but there were a few.
This next game, I watched most of it. It was very entertaining. Oklahoma-Auburn really came down very much to the end. And Mateer just was the difference. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. He is a really, really good player.
He's a really good player.
Scores a late touchdown running the ball. And Oklahoma's defense is really, really solid, as we knew. So what are your thoughts about Oklahoma sitting at 4-0 and rising up the boards?
I think Oklahoma has a lot of players that give them an opportunity to make a run at that playoff. They're a very good team. And Matier gives them that extra something. It's kind of wild. The spread was 7.5. So
I know. I saw that.
So yeah, Oklahoma was favored by 7.5. So they didn't cover. So that's
I know. Solid win though. This is a really good team they're playing.
I think Oklahoma is one of those top 10 teams.
This shows you how many good teams there are in the SEC. It's really crazy.
Yeah.
Because Auburn would beat almost everybody in the country, other than the top 10 teams. So this game, no contest, and everyone thought it was going to be close. Matter of fact, I was watching College Game Day, and a couple of the guys on the panel were picking Tulane in an upset.
I can't believe that.
Like Tulane was 3-0 coming into this game, and I was sitting there thinking to myself, I know they're good and they're 3-0, but they're not an SEC team. They play in a trash conference. I don't know who
There's nothing about Tulane that tells me they can beat Ole Miss.
I do think Tulane's a decent team. I do, but
it was a 13.5 point spread, and Ole Miss covered by a lot.
I mean, they were picking it as a dark horse upset, but
I like Jake Ratzlaff pretty well. Like their quarterback is good, but I don't give them any chance of winning. Ratzlaff had 51 yards rushing, so that was pretty good. I don't know.
So
Ole Miss defense didn't have to do very much. They didn't have any sacks. They had 5 tackles for loss and 1 pick.
This kid Chambliss for Ole Miss is just rising up the boards. He's very inexperienced, but he had 307 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, and then he had 112 yards on the ground.
Yeah.
So he's really a dual threat kind of guy. So
he had 112 yards on the ground and a QBR of 90.1. Keep an eye out for Trinidad Chambliss. He's definitely rising.
He's
going to be one of those really good late second round quarterbacks who's probably going to be a starter in the NFL.
I talked about Ole Miss and South Carolina before the year, and I said, watch out for those 2 teams. Of course, South Carolina had a big misstep one week, but those are 2 sneaky teams that you don't want to really play.
Yeah.
Tennessee took care of business, 56-24.
See, just not much parity, like just not very much.
I thought it was pretty cool to see John Kitna's son is the quarterback now for UAB. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yep.
And he had a really big day for them. But passing 51 times, I don't think that's a recipe for success.
Yeah, you'll never win throwing 51 times, almost.
And Tennessee can really run the ball. I mean, they had 3 guys rotating in and out that all could run the ball. So they were just ramming it down their throats. So no real contest there. Texas Tech, in what was supposed to be a huge battle of 2 great teams. We talked about, was Utah for real or not, and that they were going to find out this week, playing a real team. And this game wasn't really close.
No.
Thoughts about Hammond and the boys and Texas Tech kind of taking Utah down a peg?
Well, Hammond was 13 for 16. 169, 2 touchdowns, no picks. QBR 96.3, and he had 61 yards rushing. So he was a dual threat, definitely a problem for Utah. And I was surprised that Utah wasn't really able to run the ball that effectively.
Right.
They normally can pound you.
Whereas Texas Tech did run the ball. Usually Texas Tech throws a lot more, but they ran the ball really well. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, Texas Tech kept the ball on the ground decently. And Dickey had 2 touchdowns running. So,
do you know, nobody I saw before the year picked Texas Tech to win the Big 12. Everyone just kind of put them around 4 or 5 in that division.
Yeah.
And now they're sitting in first place in the Big 12 at 4-0.
There was a 2 turnover differential in Texas Tech's favor. So that's usually going to be enough to sway some points, significant points. So 4 turnovers for Utah is pretty disheartening and discouraging.
Agreed.
So,
yep. So we found out how good Utah is, I think, in that game.
Well, I don't know. I mean, If you're going to turn the ball over 4 times, it's going to throw you out of your normal routine.
But
I
I
think
still think they're a very
if
good
they
team.
played again, do you think it would be that score? I don't think it would, probably. So
No, but I think Texas Tech is the better team.
probably the better team. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they'd still win, but maybe not convincingly like that.
So Georgia Tech goes to 4-0, 45-24 against Temple. Temple's actually a decent team. Haynes King, solid day.
He's a
Ran
great
the,
quarterback.
ran the
He's
ball
a
really
great
well.
college quarterback.
They had two running backs with 100 yards plus.
Mhm.
Man, I have to tell you, you were saying this, and I completely agree with you. I think the ACC is
Mhm.
actually up a little this year.
It is.
There's a lot of good teams in the ACC.
Yeah.
It's much, much, much more solid than last year.
Everybody's looking at Clemson struggling and saying, well, the ACC is terrible then. No, Miami and Florida State are plenty good enough to carry the banner.
No doubt.
But you got Georgia Tech, Syracuse is no joke.
Yeah.
You know, you got
Pittsburgh,
Pittsburgh, you got some decent teams in there.
Virginia's better.
Virginia's
NC
better.
State's pretty good.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Yeah. Duke is pretty decent. So,
Duke's good. Duke's
yeah.
good.
Yeah, they're very good. So, next game, this game, I just could not believe it. I was watching the highlights last night. 70-21. Vanderbilt goes to 4-0. They've actually knocked a couple teams off this year already.
Yeah, they had a big win last week too.
Yeah. And if you can see here, they scored 21, 21, 14, and 14. 70 points for
Just
Vanderbilt.
nonstop scoring.
Like what is going on with this team? They're always the bottom of the barrel in the SEC.
I hate to take a whole lot away from when a team beats a weak opponent. Go play. Let's see what happens when Vanderbilt plays in
But they've
Alabama.
beaten some good opponents.
Yeah, but they haven't played like in Alabama yet.
That's true. That's true. But I'm saying they're not bad. They're really pretty good.
No, they're pretty good. They're always thought of as like the worst in the SEC, but
you remember when they knocked off Alabama last year? Everybody was so stunned. But I think what we were starting to see is Vanderbilt's coming around a little bit, starting to get some players.
I think they're a little better than normal. So
yeah,
they're blowing out teams that they should beat. Now they're blowing them out instead of just.
Boy, this was fun for the Vanderbilt fans. Let me tell you, that's a
Yeah.
lot of scoring. Goodness.
Let's just say they didn't carry the goalposts down Nashville party streets anymore. They just now they're starting to get used to winning.
So this game was a great game.
Mm-hmm.
It was a fantastic game. Nebraska comes all the way back to tie it up 27-27. They hand the ball to Michigan with 2.5 minutes left. Michigan drives down the field, gets the winning field goal. Really, really solid game. Nebraska's quarterback had the day of his life. Michigan can really run the ball or run all over Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
The Michigan interim coach, because Sherman Moore is out for 3 weeks, got his second win. He's 2-0 now, the interim coach. So what are your thoughts about Michigan getting this big Big Ten win?
Very impressive. There were 3 really long touchdown runs. And I think it was a great matchup of quarterbacks, Bryce Underwood and Dylan Raiola.
Mm-hmm.
I love that matchup. I'd pay money to go see that every week.
I would too.
Yeah. So
Underwood had a really nice rushing touchdown too.
Yeah.
He's a heck of an athlete.
Dylan Raiola had negative 49 yards rushing. Yeah.
One of those weird stats.
It didn't work very well for him.
Good day passing though.
But yeah, I mean, look at Michigan's defense. That's the story, really. Bryce Underwood played a really nice game, 72.3 QBR and 61 yards rushing and a touchdown. But he didn't do much in the air. The big thing was the Michigan defense had 7 sacks and 9 tackles for loss and a pick.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty dominating performance.
So you couldn't have won this game without the defense.
7 sacks. The defense was the difference.
Yeah.
Without the defense doing that, Nebraska wins that game.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
That's my take.
I think Nebraska is a little better this year. We
yeah.
haven't seen them this good in a long time. They're really pretty solid.
Yeah. They've been building.
And Michigan last year didn't have a quarterback, and this year they do. I think Underwood's
They have an okay quarterback that is just throws enough to keep you honest, but really their running attack is still
And you have to think
very savage.
Underwood's 19 years old.
Yeah, he'll get
And
better.
you can imagine he's going to get a lot better as a passer in the next year or
Yeah,
two.
and what makes recruiting in the transfer portal so much easier is when you have a quarterback and the sky's the limit for your team, and you're a great left tackle or left guard, and you're looking for a new team, you'll consider that team very much at
Let's
the
think. I'm
top.
going to go to Michigan and play with
I
Underwood.
want
Yeah,
to play with Raiola and have a
yeah,
shot at the national
yeah,
title. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Mhm. That's true. So South Carolina goes up against Missouri. South Carolina the week before had been completely embarrassed on their home field.
Yeah.
They go into Missouri. This was a home game for Missouri. It was a really solid game. I enjoyed watching the highlights of this one. Lenora Sellers had a pretty good game, 302 for 2 touchdowns. Missouri comes out on top. Missouri's a really solid team. They're sitting at 4-0. And South Carolina is dealing with 2 straight losses. So what are your thoughts?
South Carolina had -9 yards rushing,
Mm-hmm.
and Missouri had 287.
It's not going to get it done.
No, they dominated in a bunch of different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Also, South Carolina had a lot of self-destruction penalties, 14 penalties for 98 yards.
Shane Beamer was yelling a lot in this game. And I could tell he
Yeah,
was really, really, really frustrated because
they were
they
making a
were
lot of
they were
mistakes.
in this game the whole time. They really were.
Ole Miss only had 5 penalties, and South Carolina had 14. So,
They
I mean,
weren't playing great, and yet they were in this game, and they
yeah.
just kept shooting themselves in the foot. So
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like Missouri's the better team, but they definitely played better on that day.
yeah, for sure.
Missouri had 5 sacks and 8 tackles for loss.
You think South Carolina's in trouble here
They might be. They might be sliding a little bit.
because they have a really hard schedule ahead of them.
It
They got a
seems
lot
like
of
they're
really good teams.
developing a few bad habits and bad penalties, and yeah, there's a little
Mhm,
bit of discipline problems.
mhm. Yeah,
I
yeah.
think
Shane Beamer.
Shane Beamer's a good coach, but I don't know if he's faced a whole lot of adversity in his time, so I don't know.
He can't quite seem to right the ship there the last 2 weeks. We'll see if he's able to pull them together. This
Right.
next game, Notre Dame picks up their first win of the season. They came into this game 0-2 and had a really disappointing first couple weeks and roll up a lot of points, a lot of yards, 56-30. I was kind of surprised the game they got from Purdue. Purdue actually had a pretty nice day offensively. Love finally had the game you expect from him on the ground, which is nice to see. 157 and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Thoughts about Notre Dame getting back in the win column?
I don't know. I mean, they were favored by 25 points, so they just barely covered. They clearly their running game is for real. I mean, they have Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price, and between those two, they had 5 touchdowns.
Price had 4 touchdowns.
Price had
Crazy.
4 touchdowns. They had 5 touchdowns rushing and 1
Yeah,
kickoff return
right.
for a touchdown.
Mhm.
So Malachi Fields had two catches for 78 and a touchdown.
Yeah, I
So
saw that one really beautiful pass over the middle, and
yeah,
he scored. It was really
they're
nice.
getting some good receiving yards now. So CJ Carr is working his way into being a dual threat, and they'll be able to keep you off balance. Notre Dame, if they stay balanced, then they're a big problem.
Doesn't it feel like CJ Carr is still growing and he's still developing? And
Oh, absolutely.
like second half of the year, he might be really good. That's what it feels
Notre
like.
Dame versus Purdue in rushing yardage, 76 for Purdue, 258 for Notre Dame.
Mm,
That's where Notre Dame's going to win that game pretty much every single time.
hmm
They're
That's
just
right.
going to run that offensive line over you, and Jadarian Price and Jeremiah Love are going to be literally running all over your backfield.
Any concern that you give up 30 points to Purdue?
Yeah, I mean Purdue definitely had 379 yards, and they had you know Ryan Brown had some decent numbers, QBR 70.3. You don't really want to see that kind of day for a quarterback for a team that you should be whooping. Purdue's a pretty bad team this year, and you don't want their quarterback gaining confidence against your team.
Can you imagine if Malachi Fields had stayed at Virginia this year?
Oh yeah, that'd been nice.
Man, played with this new offense that's really revamped. So happy to see him have success, though.
Yeah, me too. He's a good guy.
USC has announced themselves as for real. We've been waiting for this type of USC team for a couple of years. Matter of fact, coming into the season, their very highly touted coach was on the hot seat. And all of a sudden, they're 4-0 and they're 2-0 in the Big Ten. And they beat a very solid Michigan State team.
I don't know if I'd say very solid.
Well, I mean, they came in 3-0.
Yeah, they're okay. They're okay. I think they're not great.
What do you think of this quarterback for USC? He's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely he's an improvement over the last couple of years, since Caleb Williams. But since Williams left, it feels like this is a better team, but I still think they're not at the top echelon. I don't
They're a
think
little,
it's not a playoff team.
they're a little better defensively.
Yeah.
They're definitely better offensively. They look better coached. They're explosive in terms of their big chunk plays. I agree with you. I don't think they're a playoff team. I do agree with you. They're not a playoff team, but I think they're much improved and they're much more competitive.
Well, I think it's a better locker room. Like it's a little more talent than they had for the last 10 years or so.
I want to see him play one of the big boys. Let me see him play, Notre Dame or Ohio State or Michigan. Then I want to see, at that point we'll know what they have. So this was the upset of the week in the ACC, although I kind of called it before the game. I was thinking to myself, Clemson was playing so poorly and Syracuse playing so much better. And they have this quarterback that's really kind of ignited Syracuse. Klubnik had a big day stats-wise, but, I mean, he throws 60 times. That's not a good thing for any team.
No.
So this really never felt close. I watched the entire game from beginning to end. Syracuse on both sides of the ball at the line of scrimmage just beat up Clemson. And
it felt like Clemson was scared because they were at home and they didn't know if they could win. It was very strange to watch Clemson get dominated in Death Valley. It's just not something I've seen very often in my life,
So they're sitting at 1-3 and 0-2 in the ACC. Do you know what Clemson's rank is in FBS in terms of offensive statistics?
No.
113th.
Yeah, it's not good.
And so
they can't run the ball.
You were saying Klubnik hasn't regressed, but, I mean, with those kind of statistics sitting at 1-3, their offense, whether it's Klubnik or not, their offense is
they can't run the ball, so they have no play action. They have, the safeties can really cheat.
He was 37 for 60. That's insane.
Yeah.
So thoughts about what can Clemson do the rest of this year? I mean, they're essentially out of the playoffs already.
Well, not much. I mean, they're not going to do playoffs, so now you're just trying to preserve the best bowl and try and get into the ACC playoff. I mean, championship game, and they can't do much. They're going to try and get in through the championship game.
And then, how impressed are you with Syracuse?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good team. They're very. Mm-hmm. This is one of those teams that makes, in my mind, the ACC a little better.
I think so too.
The Syracuses and the Dukes and Virginia's come up some, and
it's true.
And then Florida State and Miami are the cream of the crop this year for the ACC.
Well, I guess my prediction of Clemson going to the national championship game is not going to happen. So I did my mea culpa. So this was kind of surprising. TCU, who absolutely drubbed UNC in week 1, clearly are for real. They go to 3-0 by beating the really good SMU team 35-24. Really solid game. Jennings had a pretty good day, but overall, TCU just looked a little bit better in this game. Any thoughts about this particular ball game?
I just think, I mean, TCU had a really good game plan. They're a surprisingly good team, and maybe SMU kind of took them a little lightly on the road.
These stat lines that we have here for TCU's quarterback are really strange. 22 for 40, basically was a 50% completion percentage, but gets
Yeah,
379 yards and 5 touchdown passes.
yeah.
A strange line there.
So a lot
Again,
of incomplete passes, but they stayed with throwing.
it felt like SMU couldn't really stop TCU.
Mhm.
And that's a little concerning because their defense was pretty good last year.
Yeah, I'd say their defense is taking a step back a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. So you still think SMU is kind of that fringe playoff team this year? Or you think they've slipped?
Hard to say. TCU's got some athletes for sure, and
You do.
so if you take them lightly, they could thump you like this. Uh, I don't know. I might have missed the target on SMU, but I think they're a good team, and I think they just had a bad week. And
I think Jennings is a good quarterback. I think they're a
I think
good
if we
team.
see this again, it's over. And if we don't see it again, then this was an anomaly.
I don't see SMU winning the ACC again, and that's the only way they're going to get in, right?
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
so I don't think they're going to get in the playoff again, but they could have a good year. So Louisville rolls up a big score on Bowling Green. They go to 3-0. Pretty nice game there. I'm not sure there's much you can take away from it. Bowling Green's a MAC team,
Yeah,
but this is another ACC team that's kind of dangerous. I don't know.
yeah, they are.
I don't really think you want to play them.
No, I mean they're starting to get a lot of respect. You know.
The ACC is deeper than I've seen it in about 5 years.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I would say about it. North Carolina gets absolutely drubbed by UCF. And I watched the second half of this game, man. It was embarrassing. It was
Yeah.
absolutely embarrassing. They could not even get a first down most of the time.
It really was embarrassing. I was watching it with a Carolina fan, and I know that look because as a Virginia fan, we've had that a lot, and where the expectations don't meet the reality,
Yeah.
and there's so much pomp and circumstance around Carolina, but they haven't deserved any of it. They're not very good.
So what do you think this is? What do you think this team under Belichick's going to be this year? Is it just you have
I
to
don't
give
know.
them 3 years? Because I
Yep.
mean, I was talking to Dad about this, and we were debating about can you give a coach like that 3 years anymore? I mean, that's what we used to do. We used to give guys 3 years to build something, but
I think you have to. I mean,
yeah,
you don't have a choice. You're not going to get anybody probably better than that.
because they feel like 5-6 this year. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
you got to see what he can do with another year of recruiting and portal. Is what I would say about it.
Yep.
They really do not look very good. They look kind of bottom 4 or 5 in the ACC right now. I would say UCF, congratulations,
Yeah,
goes
I
to
agree with that.
3-0. This game was really painful to watch. I really
Yeah.
felt like, especially early on, that NC State was going to get this done. It was 21-20 at half Duke, and then Duke just kind of took over in the second half. And
Yeah, I think they dominated in the second half.
even though NC State had a really nice day with Bailey and Smothers,
Yeah.
but it felt like Duke was the better team. Do you agree with that?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think Duke is sneaky good. It was at Wallace Wade, so the crowd was going crazy, but um,
If these two teams played 10 times, don't you think it'd be 5-5?
no, I think it'd be 6-4 for Duke.
Okay. It was just a little disappointing to see NC State's defense was kind of Swiss cheese for a while there. I don't know what they can do to shore that up, but for them to have the kind of season they want, they got to play better defense than that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I'm hoping,
it wasn't very good.
hoping they can pull it together. This game, of course, I was just absolutely delighted to watch. 48-20 for Virginia over Stanford, and they just absolutely rolled up the offense again. And what's amazing is Chandler Morris is now the fourth highest rated quarterback in the country this year. So he's actually put himself up into pretty high straits with all the other great quarterbacks. Taylor had another big game out of the backfield. Cam Ross and a bunch of other guys made great plays. This kid Harris had 3 touchdowns in the first quarter. Thoughts about this win against Stanford? I know Stanford's not very good this year, but really nice to see Virginia has some offensive efficiency.
It's nice to have a team that makes you feel a little bit proud again. Um, I will say that when I saw how weak Virginia's schedule was this year, I think next game is Florida State. Is that right?
Yeah, we have Florida State this
So it's
weekend.
gonna be a rough one, but
Yeah.
overall the schedule's pretty easy. And I think this is what you do when you want to rebuild your program. You go back to the beginning. You play a bunch of teams that you can beat, so you can get the wins.
Yep.
Get the bowl game, so you can continue to recruit hard and use the bowl game as a chip to
Mhm.
lure more people and then get better. And then you want to get to a better bowl game and then make
Mhm.
the schedule a little bit harder. You know, when you're losing like Virginia was, you need to go back to the basics, which is playing a lot of teams that you can kind of beat to amass wins.
Mhm.
There's no illusion about like playoffs or anything, but just putting together enough wins to get to a bowl is a success.
But, you know, one thing Virginia has never done is sometimes we have beaten the teams we're supposed to beat, and that's good, but a lot of times these kind of games, we'd win like 27-20. And to actually see the team this year have a little bit of a killer instinct and to be able to roll up these kind of points and yards
Yeah.
against these bad teams, that gives me a lot of hope that this team can actually compete. I guess we'll see when we play Florida State and some of the other really good teams, but I like that. I like that they're willing to go blow a team out like this.
I like how they've quietly been building in the transfer portal and letting people take their time and get ready and then put them in. And second, I really like the weaker schedule. And I think there has to be an admission sometimes that our program's not in shape to be playing
And you know
top
what?
10 teams all over the place.
I really like this defense. I mean, they were in
Yeah.
Stanford's backfield the whole night. I mean,
Hmm.
there's a lot of pass rushers, and
Yeah.
I don't know,
There's some NFL players on this defense.
no doubt. So West Virginia, a week after pulling the upset against Pittsburgh, goes down to Kansas. Kansas, I think, is sneaky good in the Big 12. Nobody's really talking about them, but this kid Daniels is pretty darn good, and they've got a really good running game. Any thoughts about Kansas?
Yeah. Hard to say. I think West Virginia slipped a lot. Um, but Kansas played really well in this game, obviously. But I'm not buying Kansas
No?
overall. Overall, I think they're a good team. They're not great.
You don't think they're one of those top 3 or 4 in the Big 12?
No, they remind me of like Utah. You kind of don't want to play them, but probably
Mhm.
not going to do that much at the end of the day.
Any team that can run the ball and play defense like this, though, they're going to be in a lot of games.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, they're one of those really tough kind of competitive teams.
Yeah.
Arizona State wins a really tough battle, probably one of the best games of the weekend. Arizona State, Baylor, 2 really good teams out of the
Hmm.
Big 12. Sam Levitt and the boys come out on top. They had just a couple more plays in the fourth quarter. So what were your thoughts about this one?
So yeah, I mean, I think Levitt he had a really bad week last week,
Mm-hmm.
and they had a bounce back game, and I think Baylor's an okay team. They're not great, so it's a good win. I don't know. It was a close game.
Mm-hmm.
Baylor's got athletes. I'm not sure they have the depth,
Mm-hmm.
but
Baylor's
Ohio
tough,
State.
though. Baylor's tough.
Yeah,
They
they are.
really are.
They've had a big win this year. I'm trying to think of what it was. Uh, Yeah, I think Arizona State should win that game.
They should. I agree. Although this was at Baylor, so
Yep.
any kind of win interdivision against a good team on the road, that's a good win. I don't care how much
Yeah,
it's fun.
you're right.
Yeah. Colorado gets back on the win column after losing 2 in a row, beating Wyoming in Boulder. Salter had his best game of his young career with 3 touchdown passes. So, any signs of life here for Colorado, or they just played a bad team?
I think they played a bad team,
Mm-hmm.
and they were hungry. You don't want to play a cornered animal.
Right. They had been
But
really disappointing a couple weeks in a row.
they'll
So,
probably come out and lay an egg next week, so who knows?
yeah. Yeah. I can't get a sense for this year's Colorado team what they are, and I don't think they really know what they are yet.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like, is that they're still searching for their identity. So, good for them to get back in the win column. Iowa wins a really rough matchup against Rutgers. I watched a lot of this game. It was back and forth, lead changes all over the place. 2 really good teams that really wanted this game. Both teams came in 3-0, and Iowa comes out on top with a big fourth quarter. They won at Rutgers. Any thoughts about this one?
Pretty good game. Just a big fourth quarter there for Iowa. I don't think a whole lot about Rutgers, so
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it tells you very much. But Iowa's a pretty good team.
Well, Rutgers came in 3-0.
Yeah.
And decent team, but yeah, I mean, I think this is a really good win for Iowa. Tough Rutgers team on the road
Yeah. On
in
the road is
division,
tough.
and I agree. I think Iowa's a pretty good team,
Yeah, they're pretty good.
solid. Maryland takes on Wisconsin. Pretty low scoring game overall, but Maryland takes
I
care of
think
business.
I think this was a shocker.
This kid Malik Washington for Maryland is pretty good.
Yeah,
He had some really nice plays in this game.
he did.
This
I
was a
know.
bit of a
I heard
shocker.
a Wisconsin fan talking on the radio. They were stunned.
This is a bit of a
They,
shocker.
they could not believe Maryland was able to do that in their house.
This was in Madison, Wisconsin. That's what's so
Yeah.
surprising about it. Yeah. So this kid Malik Washington, man, check him out. They're sitting at 4-0 in Maryland and looking pretty good.
Yep.
That was his Big Ten debut as a quarterback. So pretty cool that our UVA Malik Washington's on the Dolphins now. Now we have another Malik Washington for
Yeah.
Maryland.
Same name.
So here's your AP top 25 for the week. Ohio State, Miami moves up to 2. Seems a little high to me, but
Yeah, I think they should be top 5, but not 2.
yeah, 2. Penn State 3, LSU 4, Georgia 5, Oregon 6. Oklahoma's all the way up to 7. They started at 24. Then Florida State, A&M, and Texas. You got Indiana lurking, just outside the top 10. Any surprises on this one?
No, that's pretty much right.
I think Miami's a little high.
Miami's positioning is a little bit, but
I put them at 5 or 6, but I think
it's
they're
pretty
very
cool to
good.
see Oklahoma up there.
I know, they're really rising.
Yeah,
And look
and to
at
see Indiana do it again.
Look at
even though
Vanderbilt.
players.
Vanderbilt's creeping up. You got Georgia Tech at 16 now.
Mm-hmm.
Iowa State sitting right there. Ole Miss. Indiana plummeted. I'm sorry, Illinois plummeted from 9 to 23. So USC's back in the top 25. So here's what the coaches think. They kind of agree with you and me. They've got Ohio State, then Penn State, then Georgia. They always have Georgia above the AP poll. Then they've got LSU, then Oregon, then Miami at 6. So you think this is more accurate?
That's closer to what I think overall.
They've also got Texas way higher at 7. So the coaches still think Texas is a really good team,
Yeah.
which they are. I mean, they have, I think, the best defense in the country. So
Yeah, they got a good roster.
yeah, it's really interesting to see the difference between the sports writers and the coaches and how they look at things.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's look at our NFL scoreboard. Your Dolphins go down 31-21. Really hard fought game. I know Josh Allen's last couple plays in the fourth quarter really took the game. But
And the big turnover by Tua.
you were talking about no moral victories, but I think you felt pretty good about the effort.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't bad.
The one throw by Tua is inexplicable. I don't know what he was looking at.
Yeah.
James
I
Cook.
heard defense of it in that the linebacker was out of place, shouldn't have been there.
Mhm.
But I don't know. It looked pretty bad to me.
James Cook, to me, was the star of the game. Really had a massive impact. Dalton Kincaid, really nice touchdown.
Yeah, they have three good tight ends.
Do the Bills just own the Dolphins now?
I think the key to the game was James Cook.
Yeah.
I was looking at running stats and the hang on a second. Yeah, the top two running backs yardage right now are Jonathan Taylor and James Cook
Mm-hmm.
in the league. So,
Yeah. Well, James Cook just signed the big deal and
yeah,
he's earning his
Josh
money.
Allen handing the ball off is keeping him healthy, and he's a lot more effective when he's fresh.
And yet Josh Allen still has 3 touchdown passes in the game. So
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, he's playing better because he's healthy.
right.
So
That's right. So the Packers inexplicably find a way to lose this game to the Browns. They go into the fourth quarter up 10-0. I don't know how in the world this happened, but I know Love threw a really bad pick. Judkins ran really well for Cleveland, and Cleveland just kind of never gave up and found a way to block a kick in the fourth quarter and then go down and kick their own kick. So how do you feel about this one? I mean, I was thinking the Packers were the best team in the NFC, and all of a sudden they stubbed their toe against the Browns.
yeah, I've been saying the Packers are getting overrated for a couple weeks now, and that I think that they are a very good team. They're better than they looked against the Browns, but if you look at time of possession was dramatically in Green Bay's favor, 34-25.
There's no way they should ever lose to the Browns. I'm sorry. there's no scenario they should lose to the Browns.
They won almost every statistical category.
Yeah.
The Browns had 5 sacks. The Packers only had 2. You're used to that Packers defense being dominating now, and they weren't that dominating. They were decent, but they weren't getting to the quarterback that much.
We were talking about how many strange results there have been in the NFL this year, and this is just another one to pile on top. It just makes no sense.
Yeah.
When you have one team dominate that much all day long and find a way to lose it.
I think the Packers got overrated, and they're a good team, but I still hold that the 2 best teams in football are, in my opinion, are the Eagles and the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think that the Bills and the Packers are in there, like in the next tier.
I like the Ravens.
And the Ravens, they're in there too.
I think Ravens and the Eagles have the 2 best rosters in football.
And maybe the Chargers.
Yeah.
I think Detroit is dramatically underestimated now that they've had that mediocre season because of all those injuries.
Mm-hmm.
They have so many weapons all over the place.
They do.
And while there might be some games where they get humbled, I just think that you don't want to play the Lions.
So the team that just keeps surprising every week, the Colts win 41-20. And Daniel Jones continues his hot streak. He's the number one passing and QBR quarterback in the NFL. Jonathan Taylor is having a career year this year. He's just absolutely dominating. And then they have all these great weapons like Pittman, and they got Tyler Warren, the rookie, and it's just amazing to watch. The Colts might have the best offensive line in football other than the
Yeah.
Eagles. So
Yep.
thoughts about the Colts sitting at 3-0. Are they for real? Are they a contender?
Well, they have a great balanced offense now. I mean, Jonathan Taylor looks rejuvenated. He's putting up huge, huge numbers. He had 102 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns. You got Daniel Jones with a 94.1 QBR, 18 of 25, 228 touchdown, and then he runs for 27 yards just to
And he's
keep
not making
pace alive,
mistakes like he did in New York. He
not
made a lot.
making mistakes. Him
Yeah,
and Steichen do really well together.
it's true.
They play golf together. They're friends. So
Yeah.
he's really happy there. Steichen is very happy with having Daniel Jones on
Remember
his
we
team.
talked about the situation. It's so important for a quarterback. The situation
Yeah.
you're in. So
And
important.
let's face it, the Colts, their defense has been good. They have 4 sacks yesterday, 8 tackles for loss, a pick
Mhm.
6. I mean,
Mhm.
that's athletic.
I wouldn't want to play him. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I
Not the
mean,
way they're
they'll
playing.
sneak up on you and take you out.
And then in terms of Cam Ward and his development, last 2 weeks he's really looked poor. A lot of bad decisions. I know he's getting blitzed and rushed,
He's a rookie.
and
He's just a
he has a
rookie. That's all.
he's a rookie, and he has a really bad offensive line. And are
It's exactly why I wouldn't be playing him right now.
any concern about breaking him like they've broken
Yes,
some other guys?
very much. I think if you sat him on the bench, you'd be helping his career.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm concerned about him because he's starting to look a little battered.
Yeah,
He's getting absolutely beaten up on every play, but
yeah.
Colts are for real. So this
Colts
game
are kind of for real, kind of.
after Browning pulls out a win last week, he just looked absolute trash. He looked like a bottom of the barrel backup in this one.
Yeah, Browning had a
Largely
23.8 QBR.
largely because Flores absolutely unleashed every type of package at him you could possibly imagine, and the Vikings defense
Yeah,
feasted all day long.
he was
Carson
swarming.
Wentz comes in. He hadn't played a game in 2 years, and he looked fantastic. They really, really smooth and made a lot of great decisions. They leaned on the running game a lot with Mason. Jefferson had a couple really nice grabs. Bengals, of course, made a bunch of really costly turnovers. So thoughts about this game, thoughts about Carson Wentz?
The Vikings dominated on both sides of the ball. Statistically, they dominated most all the categories. They dominated sacks and tackles for loss, turnover battle,
There was a lot
everything,
of discussion
yardage.
on the radio in Minneapolis on the sports radio there and they were saying this a week ago before Wentz even played, that they were faking the JJ McCarthy injury because they know he's not ready. And they were trying to find a way to essentially bench him without the embarrassment of being benched. So do you think there's any truth to that? And
No.
do you think when he's healthy, he's coming back, or do you think they're going to leave Wentz in?
Oh, I think when he's healthy, he's coming back.
You do?
Yeah. Yeah, the thing that they're doing though is making sure he's 100% healthy. They don't want him at 90%. They don't think he'll be as effective.
Mm-hmm.
So he's worth waiting for, basically.
You don't think that they want him to sit with a clipboard behind Wentz?
I want him to. I don't think they do.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, he sat all last year. So
Mm-hmm.
granted, when you're injured, there's no chance you're going in. You don't work as hard to get yourself mentally ready. But
We'll see. I mean, the way they played on Sunday, it's going to be really hard to replace that regime that they had. It really worked. So, and Bengals, I think there's no chance but that they're going to fade. And They're not going to make the playoffs.
Tough.
The hope that they were going to come out of a very tough AFC with a winning record and a playoff berth so they could hand it to Joe Burrow in December. I just don't see it happening.
No.
So
no, the damage will be done.
the Steelers win 21-14, although they were completely dominated in the score sheet. We talked about this. The only reason being because the Patriots found a way to lose this game by turning it over 5 times.
Yeah. Turnovers was huge.
So the concern about the Steelers' defense is still there. It really doesn't look like the same defense this year. And concern about their offense is also there. They can't run the ball. They literally can't run the ball. So what are your thoughts about Pittsburgh winning this game and the overall prospects for these two teams?
Well, the stats point to New England to win this game, but the 4 fumbles and 5 turnovers was devastating. It just killed so many drives. So, I think the Steelers have a decent team this year. It's not great, but they're going to beat some mediocre teams.
What do you think about Hunter Henry's day?
Yeah. 8 for 90, two receiving touchdowns.
Yeah.
He looked great.
Drake May actually had a decent day, but, Patriots couldn't hold on to the ball. So you don't protect the ball, you lose.
That's right.
So Rams inexplicably go up 26-7 in the third quarter and then find a way to lose this game, including with the blocked field goal we talked about.
Yeah, that was crazy.
The Eagles had, I think it was 2 first downs in the first half. Really were struggling, and then their offense kind of woke up in the second half. And
they were down sizably in the third quarter, and then they just started coming back.
So you think the Rams are going to feel sick about this and how they twittered this game away?
Yeah, I think so. I think they want to measure themselves against the best, and Super Bowl champs is as good as it gets, and they fell short, even though they really did a decent job. Puka Nacua with 112 yards.
What's amazing is
Devontae Adams had a touchdown and 56 yards. They got some weapons.
They do. Nacua had an incredible day. So one thing I noticed was the Rams have lost 4 straight times to the Eagles, and they've lost them 3 times in the last year, including the playoffs. So this is really becoming a trend for them. Every time they play the Eagles, they lose to them.
Yeah. They got their number a little bit.
So is this about the Rams have got to learn how to finish games, or is it that they got to learn how to block field goals? Or, I mean, it really was as simple as a 10-point turnaround on a field goal kick.
I think the Eagles get stronger as the game goes on. Let's face it, A.J. Brown had the best game of his season. And I really think the way the Eagles are, their stars were stars and made a difference. And Saquon didn't have that great of a day, but a lot of their players were stars, came up huge.
They came out after halftime and decided to start throwing to A.J. Brown. Like, why aren't you throwing it to him anyway?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. I get it. His stats have been bad this year, but part of that is quarterbacking.
Did you notice Saquon is not having a very good year?
Yeah, he I that was one of the first things I looked for was what happened with Saquon, 18 for 46. I don't know.
He's just not having the impact.
They're keying on him, saying he's not going to beat us, and then everyone else will beat you.
It's interesting. They're finding ways to win. That's what great teams do. So Jets, after their block punt and return for touchdown, look like they might win this game, 27-26. Ball gets handed back to Baker Mayfield, and then for the 3rd week in a row, he is great late, drives the team all the way down the field for the winning field goal. After the field goal kicker got it blocked, they played before. Egbuka had a couple of just unbelievable catches, including one-hander right on the sideline. Bucky Irving.
Ibuka's awesome. He's having a great year already.
Yeah. But Jets almost stole this one, but the Buccaneers didn't allow them. But what do you think about the Bucs sitting at 3-0, Baker Mayfield becoming this magician in the fourth quarter every week?
Oh man, Baker's having a great season. He's turned into quite a quarterback, like top 5.
You think he's top 5?
Top
Yeah.
6 kind of quarterback, yeah.
There's what, 4 or 5 guys you'd take over him, and then you take Baker?
Yeah, I'd probably take Mahomes, Allen, Jackson,
Herbert,
and then Baker.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Not Hurts
I wouldn't.
or Jaden?
I think they're Baker really is a good leader.
He
This
is.
team loves him.
Yeah, they're fiery around him.
Yeah.
He's had a remarkable 3 weeks. My goodness. So this game was pretty surprising because the Raiders rolled up a lot of yardage, but they couldn't really punch it in very much. And Washington scored in all kinds of amazing ways. McNichols had the really long run. They had 200 yards plus rushing. They scored a lot of different ways. Mariota
Jalen Lane got a punt return for a touchdown, 90 yards.
Yep. Had the punt return for a touchdown. You had Mariota score a touchdown on the ground. Washington feels like right now they just find ways to win, which is pretty cool. They have a lot of confidence in Mariota. So thoughts about this game?
Rushing yardage was 201 to 93 in favor of Washington. So, nice little dominating performance.
Mm-hmm. Krosky Merritt had a touchdown too.
Luke McCaffrey 3 for 56 and a receiving touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Good contributions from him. Scary Terry had 74. Jerry McNichols had a 60-yard touchdown run. 78 yards rushing. So they ran the ball well. And Mariota had 40 yards rushing. So,
do you think the Raiders are underusing SgZ&x and Brock Bowers? I mean, it looks like it to me. They're not using either one.
Yes, but in general, no. Yeah, when I saw Brock Bowers had something like 3 catches.
3 catches for like 30 yards, and then SgZ&x had like 46 yards or something.
It's just not enough.
It just feels like both of those guys are not being utilized the way they should. That's how it feels to me.
I would say this is the only week I've seen that be the case, though.
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking, why they weren't a bigger part of the game plan, but this game was just absolutely beautiful. I mean, Panther fans have been waiting for this for about 5 years, to have a game like this where they just embarrassed Penix and embarrassed the Falcons, and to get a clean sheet, 30-0. Panthers not turning the ball over, running the ball well, throwing it to the people they need to, Ted McMillan and others. And Penix eventually getting benched at the end of the third quarter, and they turn to Kirk Cousins. So thoughts about this game?
I mean, it was a nice team win, Bryce Young didn't make mistakes. That was the best thing. He had a rushing touchdown, which was cool. So his team went crazy. But he didn't do much. 16 to 24, 121 yards. So a lot of dump off passes. What is that? How many yards a throwing play? What is that, like 6 yards or something?
Yeah, something like 6 yards per play.
Which isn't, I mean, he's doing a lot of dump offs. But Bryce Young, I think all this talk about he's not an NFL quarterback, I don't agree with that. Red zone, Atlanta was 0 for 0, 0 for 0, and Carolina was 2 for 3. So,
well, Atlanta didn't get past the 31-yard line of Carolina.
Right, so. Right. That's what I'm saying is they didn't have any opportunities.
And what can you say about the Panther defense? I mean, just all day long, they were in the backfield. There were sacks. There was pressures. There was making him throw it out of bounds. You had the 2 interceptions. One was a pick 6.
Yeah, that was sweet.
They just harassed him all day. It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Like you said, team win, all 3 phases, pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Jaguars come up with a victory against the Texans, who are really reeling now. Jaguars go to 2-1, Texans to 0-3, and CJ Stroud does not look anything like the player from 2 years ago. And a lot of people in Houston are really concerned about it, about what the Texans are going to do to get out of their funk. Trevor Lawrence, just an okay day, 20 for 40 with an interception. Really, both teams kind of didn't play that great, but Jaguars come out on top. So, thoughts about this one?
So Lawrence was 20 of 40. I don't like that stat line at all.
I don't either.
222 yards.
I don't think he's that good, man.
Basil Tootin and Travis Etienne both had a touchdown. So they're starting to run the ball more effectively, which is nice. And their defense played well, Jacksonville. But I think
Nico Collins had a real nice touchdown. That was a nice catch.
He did, but he also had a fumble, like an ugly fumble. But yeah, he had 108 yards, 104 yards.
I think the Jaguars are slightly better in this matchup, but I don't think
maybe a little.
I don't think Trevor Lawrence is very good. And I'm a Lawrence fan, but
it's like they're overcoming him
and CJ Stroud is he's in a funk. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. He's just in a funk. He's not playing well.
Well, I think that the talent around him is worse. So he's got Nico Collins and no time to throw.
Yeah. Their defense doesn't look the same either. So
they traded away some offensive linemen, Laramie Tunsil and guys like that, and replaced them with cheaper versions, and it's not going to work.
Right. Next game, a really solid game. This was a lot of fun to watch. Herbert had a big day.
Yeah.
Chargers end up winning it in the end. I think there was a clear distinction and difference between Herbert and Bo Nix. There's no question Herbert's the better quarterback. Denver still has a good team. I'm not sure their defense is quite what I thought it was going to be. I thought it might be the best defense in the league. Broncos dropped to 1-2, Chargers at 3-0. So, any takeaways from this one?
A couple of things that jump out. Penalties, Denver 10 for 90 yards, and the Chargers 3 for 25. That's pretty significant freebies that you're giving the other team. Statistically, yardage wise, and third downs and first downs, Chargers pretty much dominated.
They did
in a lot of ways. Omarion Hampton had 70 yards rushing and a touchdown, and 59 yards receiving.
It felt like this game was a much bigger margin than it was on the scoreboard.
Yeah,
that's how it felt.
There were a lot of nice nice replays for Herbert, like in slow-mo, and just really fantastic, publicity on ESPN, but there weren't that many plays like that. Just he was a highlight reel occasionally, and then the rest of the time it was much closer.
And you feel good about Herbert is now up in the top 3 or 4 QBs in the league?
Yeah, he's right around 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, him and Baker.
I think the Chargers have a really solid hold in that division now. It's a really good division, but I think they're clearly the best team in that division.
I think they had another injury on their offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
So that's turning into a nightmare.
So Saints have stamped themselves as the worst team in football.
Yeah.
I could not believe how bad they looked in this game. They made the Seahawks look like a Super Bowl winner. 44-13.
Yeah.
They ended up benching Rattler and putting in the rookie Tyler Show, who couldn't do anything either in the second half. So, what are your thoughts about this one?
I
Can you
think the
take it?
Saints are the worst team in football.
Mm-hmm.
And so pulling your quarterback out and shaking his confidence isn't going to help you get better. I wouldn't be playing a rookie, but Rattler's not a rookie, so I'd stay with Rattler. Saints have a pretty competitive division that they're in, so they need to get games like that in the win column somehow.
How do you think Alvin Kamara is feeling right now as he looks at this team?
Rebuild. It's
They're
frustrating.
abysmal. Yeah. They're getting blown out by 30 points by the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
It is. I don't know what they're going to do this year. We'll see. So Cowboys look really stymied on both sides of the ball to the Bears. The Bears defense actually played really, really well. And the Cowboys defense looks like it's the worst in football. I mean, the Bears just ran up and down the field on them. Caleb Williams had the biggest day of his career with 4 touchdown passes. Had a couple really nice long bombs, including a flea flicker. Cowboys had a couple turnovers. They looked completely flustered after CeeDee Lamb went out with an injury. By the way, he's out for 3 weeks now.
Yeah, 3 to 4.
Which really hurts them. What is your takeaway?
I thought he was out for the season when I saw the injury.
Yeah.
But
what's your takeaway from this game? Can the Cowboys rebound? Do they have such a flawed defense that they're not going to go anywhere?
I think they're Eberflus is a terrible defensive coordinator. I think they're light on talent. They give up a tremendous amount of big plays. Let's see. Hold on one second.
And without Micah, they can't sniff the quarterback. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, in terms of hold on one second. They're dead last. They're dead last in the NFL against the pass.
Mm-hmm.
They've given up 900 yards, 68 receptions, 7 touchdowns throwing.
Because, you see Caleb Williams when he plays a real defense. He just looks totally flustered and totally ineffective. And then he goes up against the Cowboys defense, which, by the way, also made Russell Wilson look like a barn burner. Everybody who plays Cowboys defense just looks incredible. They have like the greatest day of their lives. So I don't know if this says more about the Cowboys or the Bears. But I'm feeling pretty confident that the Cowboys are not a playoff team this year.
No. Statistically, they're not good against the run, and they're last against the pass. So their defense is just a complete liability. And they are in a rough division. The Giants are improving slowly. The Eagles and the Commanders are extremely good teams. So they're just going to get pounded on a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Surprisingly, Dak's stats are pretty good, but
they are.
That's just because he's throwing every down because they're losing because they have no defense.
But did you see how different the offense looked when CeeDee Lamb wasn't in there?
Yeah.
It was like a totally different offense.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens. So Cardinals find a way to give this game away. They had gone up relatively late with a really nice touchdown to McBride, who's a great player. And Mac Jones, who's played well a couple weeks in a row now, finds a way to drive the team down the field, including lots of carries to Christian McCaffrey. He looked like the old McCaffrey.
He did.
And Ricky Pearsall.
He looked quick-footed. He looked powerful. He looked like he wanted the ball. He wasn't scared of getting injured. He had that twinkle in his eye, man.
He did.
Christian McCaffrey looked like he really is playing with a chip on his shoulder.
And then Ricky Pearsall had a couple incredible catches.
He's
I think
awesome.
it's like he's become their number one receiver. That's how they're using him. I think
Yeah.
he's the number one. I will say Mac Jones came out of this game limping and with a knee brace on. And Nick Bosa is lost for the season with a torn ACL,
Yeah, it's
which is
terrible.
really a shame. Yeah. So 49ers find a way to get it done. They're sitting at 3-0, but they are literally like a mash unit down to their third string quarterback. So what's your thought about this game?
Well, it's not too surprising. It's an ugly, muck it up type of game. Um, the Cardinals have problems. I think they're slowly getting better, but I just think their ceiling is relatively low compared to other good teams' ceilings. Um, they played an improved 49ers team with a backup quarterback who's playing decently, and they have some really good skill position players. So,
I have to
you
say,
know,
Mac Jones is playing pretty well this year. I got to give him
yeah.
credit. Yeah.
But if you play a lot of bad teams, they've played mediocre to bad teams.
Hmm.
You're gonna probably start amassing some wins, and people are gonna think you're good.
Hmm.
And I don't think they're very good. So
I want to see what happens to the 49ers when they go through the gauntlet of the Rams and the Chargers
yeah, that's right.
and the Commanders and they start playing the really, really challenging teams in the
I
NFC.
agree.
They've got the Lions coming up. We'll see. Chiefs pick up their first win of the season. Giants go to 0-3 and looked really, really feckless in this game. The only guy who really did anything was Scattaboo. Had a pretty nice
Yes,
day.
Scatterboo looked good.
He really did.
His
Russell Wilson.
blitz protection was fantastic.
Russell Wilson was so bad, it was
Yeah,
embarrassing. He could not get the ball to Malik Neighbor no matter what he tried. And they pull him out and put in Jackson Dart several times. But it was weird. It was like they put Jackson Dart in for like 2 or 3 plays, and then they pull him back out and put Russell Wilson back in.
yeah,
So I don't know. They have a real problem there in New York. I know they're slightly improved as a roster, but they are nowhere near to where the Chiefs are right now.
yeah. I think the coaching has been the problem. Like they're
Mhm.
just not very good.
Yeah. This game masked some things for the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs also taken a step back, and I actually predicted that in our preview show
Yeah,
that the Chiefs weren't going to be quite as good this year, and I think you're starting to see that. Although I will say they're sitting without their number one and number two receiver, and both those guys are coming back soon, so that will help them a lot. We'll see if the
yeah.
Chiefs can
It
get back
should.
on track, but obviously getting this win was a big deal for them.
Yeah, you could see it in the locker room post game. They went crazy.
And then to watch Daboll in the post game press conference, he was so frustrated. You could tell he did not want to be there. He could not wait to get the press conference over with and didn't storm out of there. He just is so pissed off as to the
Yeah,
situation they find themselves in sitting at 0-3.
it's not comfortable. You know,
Yeah. So do you think he's going to eventually buckle to the pressure and just put Jackson Dart in there? I kind of feel like they are.
probably.
Yeah.
He's got to fight for his job now.
Right.
So
He's
he's
got
got
to
to become endearing to the crowd, and that's what they're cheering for.
So tonight's game, Baltimore's favored by 4.5. The total for the game is 53. The game's underway right now. Right now it's halftime, and the score is 14-14 in this game. So really competitive game.
Not surprised.
Roberty, what do you think is going to happen here in the second half?
Well, it's at Ravens, so they have the advantage. I think the Lions are the better team by a tiny bit, but the Ravens roster is the only one in my head that rivals the Eagles or the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so defensively, the Ravens are loaded, so they have a lot of offensive pieces too.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I mean, I go with the home team most of the time if things seem equal, but I think the Lions are gonna have a really great season. So I don't know when that begins.
Mm-hmm.
First big home game or
So Derrick Henry has a touchdown in this game already, and I think this is a really great matchup. I'm really excited to see this
Yeah, I
second
agree.
week come up. We'll see what happens. So here's our subscriber challenge for the week, guys. Who is the biggest surprise team in the NFL in 2025 so far after 3 weeks? And this can be surprise from a because they're so good perspective or because they're so bad perspective. And it can be somebody not on this list as well. So Robbie, who's your
I have
biggest surprise team?
I have to say it's the Colts. Not only do they have a good roster, some of which I was unaware they had really put it all together like that, but Daniel Jones is looking good, and they've got good coaching, and their defense is solid. It's a very good team, and
I think it's the Colts as well. I don't think there's any question about it that it's the Colts. If you asked everybody in the league, they would say it's the Colts.
yeah.
I think they're definitely the surprise team of the year, sitting at 3-0, and their quarterback's the number one quarterback in the league right now in statistics.
Yeah.
Who would be your number two?
I'd say Green Bay, even though they had a stinker this last week.
Green Bay.
It's surprising how good they've looked on defense, especially.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they get Micah Parsons, but you don't understand like how much that affects the rest of their team, the quality. Everyone plays better because Micah's there. And I
For
know they
me,
didn't play great this last week, but I'm just telling you that they've had a better showing so far than what I expected.
the number two most surprising team is the Denver Broncos at how ineffective they've been this year. They really should be 0-3, but they're 1-2, and I picked them to win that division. Right now, they're sitting in last place, tied with the Raiders. So, very surprised so far at Denver and their defense not being quite as good, and Bo Nix looking like he's having a sophomore slump. So I'd say they're my number two. So, guys, drop us a comment who you think is the biggest surprise team in the NFL this year. Let us know. So the number two question is, who's the best team in college football after 4 weeks? And here's your 10 choices. Pretty tough one, Robbie.
Yeah. Probably Ohio State and Georgia, maybe.
Those are your top two.
I think so. Very closely followed by Penn State and University of Miami.
I'm going to say Penn State and Oregon. To me, those two teams really stand out to me. I think that LSU is beatable because their offense is ineffective and can be ineffective at times. Georgia is very, very good, but I don't know. They just seem beatable. Ohio State is saying seems beatable. Miami, I think, is really, really good, but I'm not sure they're up there in that top one or two. So I like Penn State and Oregon right now. That's my top two. Drop us a comment, guys. Who do you think's the best team in college football? So, Robbie, before we get to your mailbag, this is a fun question to ask. You have a 10-hour flight coming up. Let's say we're taking our flight next year to Scotland. You've got to sit in one of these seats. Which one's it going to be? You got the Kelseys / Swifts. You got Jason Kelsey's wife and Jalen Hurts. You've got Roger
I'm going
Goodell.
with Saban and McAfee.
That's who I'd go with.
Oh, yeah.
Saban and McAfee. I think that would be a
Yeah.
heck of a conversation. Can you imagine?
And my second choice would be Taylor Swift and Travis
Would it?
Kelsey.
Would it?
Yeah, I mean, I want to know what's going on. Like, I want to
Mine
hear
would
what they
be,
have to talk about. What do they like together?
it wouldn't be Mr. and Mrs. Belichick.
No.
I think my second would be Roger Goodell and Andy Reid. I think Andy Reid would be a total trip to sit next to for the whole trip. He'd be hilarious. So, guys, drop us a comment. Who would you want to sit next to in your long 10-hour flight? So, Robbie, I hand it to you, man.
All right. Well, Listen, thanks to everybody out there who dropped comments this week. We had quite a few, and I'll just touch on a few of them. We really appreciate your taking the time to not only watch, subscribe, and also to drop a comment. We really do like reading them. I love it. So first one, best sports recap on YouTube, hands down, by @JohnReed.
Man, thanks, John. What a compliment that is. And that's what we're trying to hit. And so if you feel that way, we appreciate it.
Yeah, it's nice getting some compliments, but it definitely, when we get a specific compliment, we like to try to figure out if we can take that, get better, and build on it. Next one, you explain the games better than the TV analysts, @Vincent Terry Young.
Wow. Vincent, that's a huge compliment. I don't know about that, but I'll take your
I
word
don't
for it.
either, but hey, we have a lot of fun. That's for sure.
I'll take your word for it.
So many surprises this weekend. Great coverage, @Henry Nicholas Adams. There were some pretty good surprises last week. Some good little upsets.
There's always like 2 or 3 in college and 2 or 3 in the pros, and a couple just crazy endings that you can talk about. So, yeah, good point. Definitely were a couple last week and definitely a couple this week as well.
Yeah, so last week, just to remind people, the theme was the haves and the have-nots, and I think people really like that theme. And
Mhm,
I've been reading a lot of the comments. I won't go through all of them, but I've been reading a lot of the comments on people saying that that theme kind of really captured it.
mhm.
So that was good.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks, guys. We try to title it in a way that it'll come up in your feed and you can enjoy it.
This channel is my go-to for sports recaps, @Jacob King.
Hey, thanks, Jacob. We appreciate that we're, your choice for that. Thanks
We
so
know there's a
much.
lot of choices that you can make out there, and we are certainly grateful for anybody who will spend some time with us. And
We have
give it.
more and more loyal followers every week, and we really appreciate it.
All right, another fire recap. Always love your breakdowns, @Raymond Bailey.
Hey, thanks, Raymond.
Love the fire recap
Yeah,
reference.
that's cool. Fire.
You
I'm
know who
just
loved that?
imagining.
Your boys, or my
Yes.
boys, and your son.
Yep, it's fire.
Yeah, and that's the mailbag.
Man, there's a lot of good ones this week. That was really cool.
Yeah, yeah, we had a lot of nice comments. So hopefully
Thanks.
keep that coming, y'all. We always enjoy reading what your thoughts are.
Some weeks we get a lot of comments. It's a little thin, but this week was really fantastic.
Mhm.
So things you're most excited about, Robbie, heading into week 5 in college and week 4 in pros.
So remember my analogy of in week 1 and 2, it's like looking at a painting that's you know a chaotic mess, and then you take your contacts out and you try and figure out what you're looking at. But as the weeks go forward, you're not only moving forward a little bit, but you put your contacts in.
Mhm.
And we're starting to see the real hierarchy. I think every now and then you'll see a pretender who loses one, but it's exciting to watch the teams start to separate. And it's also sad to watch teams go down with some of their stars getting injured.
So many
Injuries
injuries.
are injuries are going to start happening more now because people are a little more fatigued.
Like I
And
look at a team like the Cardinals, they can't afford for David Johnson to go down. He's such a huge part of their offense. And,
right,
and
right.
they're already kind of that fringe team that's trying
And
to
the
become.
Niners can't afford Nick Bosa to go down. Like
Yeah.
that doesn't work. He's so highly paid. When you have somebody like that, they have to be out there performing or your team's a loss.
And Mac Jones really is playing so well that they need him next week, but now he's in a knee brace. So I don't
Yeah.
know. It's tough.
Yeah, injuries are a big part of this. You can't control it, you can't predict it. If I've been saying it the whole time, is the Chiefs have really been lucky that Mahomes stays so healthy. I mean, he doesn't take that many big hits or anything,
That
But
CeeDee Lamb
all it
injury,
takes is one.
that CeeDee Lamb injury when they rolled over his ankle, did you grimace the way I did?
I saw
I
it. It
just
was
hate to see
bad.
that. I just hate to see it.
I thought he was gone for the season.
God, it just
I mean,
like
it
went a
buckled.
different direction or something.
Yeah. I don't know how he's coming back in 3 to 4 weeks. I don't understand that.
Mhm. Apparently, it's not serious damage. It surprises me when a wide receiver gets hurt like that because you have to think that the way that they catch and then run, especially the outside guys, they're not
Yeah.
going to often get rolled up like that. Now, the running
Well,
backs,
they usually aren't gonna get hit like that, but you'll have a drop hip tackle, which are
mhm,
legal now, but they still happen,
mhm,
and that'll hurt you.
mhm, that's right. Very true. So one other thing that happened over the weekend, I just want to call out. I watched quite a bit of the memorial service for Charlie Kirk, and it was really inspiring. And I really hope that this country can take the moment that we took out of that and unite and come together and not make it political and make it about faith and about country and about pulling us together. I was really happy to see so many of the sports teams acknowledged it on their scoreboards and realize that there's a lot of people that are hurting right now. So just want to call it out and say that I really enjoyed watching it. It was sad, but it was also moving and inspiring. So just wanted to
Yeah.
call.
We tend to stay completely away from politics on this channel on purpose, and, that continues. But we definitely realize that a big event like that, kinda shakes the country, and, you know, everyone on all sides has all these opinions, and that's fine. We don't really do that, but what we did, it was an event that kind of was national and was, a horrifying thing, and so we just wanted to acknowledge it a little bit and say that, there was a lot of feelings on all sides on this, um, and we certainly were sad that a family lost its father, and that we and the little kids, and it was very, very tough situation.
Yep, I agree. And just praying for everybody involved and praying for people to heal and want the country to heal. And we need to move forward. And we need to be joyful. And we love sports. And I just wanted to acknowledge it that it was a really sad but also uplifting moment for the country.
That's what we love about sports is it brings people together. You might have people
It
from
does.
all sides sitting side by side cheering on, the Browns in the dog pound, or crazy Raider fans in Las Vegas, sitting side by side, unified around their team, letting them down one more time, or getting their kick blocked and to lose. Uh, Sports is a big unifier, and that's what we
It
we
is.
like about it.
It
So
is.
that's why we enjoy doing it, really.
Well, guys, thank you so much for joining tonight. And thank you for your likes and your subscribes and your comments. And we just can't thank you enough for helping us grow the channel and bring a friend, have them come to see one of our videos and drop us a comment. And we look forward to seeing you guys on another episode.
Yeah, we appreciate you joining us. It's always fun to do, fun to see people. It's kind of cool. Sometimes there's people in the comments. I recognize their name because I've
Yeah,
seen their comments a bunch of times. So that's
yeah, it's
cool.
cool.
And we're just having a blast. There's so much good sports, and I know that you all are loving it out there like we are. Because if you're drawn to this channel, you're probably thinking a lot along the same lines that we are. That these sports are extremely exciting, and then when you add in that our kids watch it and get fired up about it, and they help guide our fantasy football teams, and so we're just having a blast doing it, and we appreciate you joining us.
A lot of good stuff coming your way. Guys, we'll see you next time on the Sports Guys. Take care.
Yeah, thanks. See you.